So Peter, what's your job today as art department?
I had to drink all this beer because we needed empty bottles. So I've been up all night drinking all this beer just to get the empty bottles. And then somebody said I just could have poured them out in the sink, and that just, in retrospect, that probably would have been a lot easier.
So the name of the film is The Ranger, and it's about a environmental ranger who looks after a kind of a nice secluded bushy part of New Zealand, kind of counts all the birds and make sure the tracks are well maintained. And he's been out there for a while, and his quiet existence is shattered when a bunch of tourists turn up, and they're messy and they're loud, and they just sort of ruin the kind of lovely peaceful vibe he's got going on, and he snaps and kills them all.
Oh dear, something blocking the track.
What we're doing here is we're setting up the campsite of our island visitors who have come over from the mainland and have no idea about how to behave, obviously, in the wilderness, and they've just trashed the joint. So Doc Ranger, he gets a justified revenge, in my opinion. I think people are going to sympathise with him.
Hello. So we're about to do a death scene, my death scene. I think we're having like projectile vinegar baking soda, like high school volcano science experiment in my mouth, which is great.
So there's a scene where our ranger has poisoned one of the tourists with some 1080 poison, and he starts foaming at the mouth and vomiting out all his guts. So to do that, we started with just getting him to brush his teeth, build up a nice kind of froth, and that didn't quite get us there. So then we mixed in some baking soda and some vinegar as well. So he'd brush his teeth and take some baking soda and then gargle some vinegar, and then we'd quickly roll the camera and he'd lie down and start convulsing and then spit out all this toothpastey foam mixed with baking soda, vinegar and a bit of food colouring. And yeah, looks pretty good.
Okay, well, I've got this barbed wire. I'm just grubbing it up a bit to make it look a bit gnarlier and meaner. So it's string, which has been dipped in PVA glue and left to harden, and it gets this really nice, nice shape to it. And the good thing about it is that it actually stiffens the string and makes it move like barbed wire as well. So it's not floppy like string. As you can see, it moves like a thin wire would. So what I'm putting on here is wood stain. It gets into all the cracks and helps to bring out the detail of the wire and make it look a little less fresh. So I paint it on and dab it off.
Just a very thick blood.
No, because we're playing this all the way through the end.
Sort of a little bit like a jelly kind of. So it's like the it's not the runny stuff. It's sort of halfway between sort of gore, basically. If you're having to do on the spot things, this stuff is very good.
We're just about to film it's not the final death that we've filmed, but it's the final death in the script. Becky is coming down. She's our final girl. She's going to escape. She jumps in a kayak, is about to get away, but realises she's not moving. And I am standing on shore holding the rope the kayak's tied to, and I reel her in.
You want her to start?
And she's the last one to die.
Cut! Cool! We were filming out at Wenderholm Park, which is Wenderholm Regional Park, which is a wonderful location north of Auckland. Really, really nice. Lovely beach, lovely bush. But these tourists are supposed to be having a campfire. Auckland Council takes these things very seriously. They don't actually want you to have a fire there, so we had to get a company called Film Effects out to do a gas-powered campfire rig nice and safely, so there was no chance of us burning down the forest. Sweet. So it's day 2 on our little dock shoot, and today we've moved out of the beach into the bush, and we're filming at this lovely Tramping Club hut, which is doubling for our kind of ranger hut. So this is kind of Simon's domain. He's lurking up here, and the trampers are going to come up through here and disturb his peace. So he's going to be kind of lurking on this deck, and we're going to kill some people.
So Peter, why are you abusing the sign?
Because I hate signs. Always telling me what to do.
go here, take that long. I'll take my own time, thank you very much. I like the inside gag that the ranger hut is 10 minutes walk and it's right there.
You got the whole thing.
Yeah.
So we're throwing dirt at the sign to make it look older than 5
Make it look a bit
You
less...
people like it type like people write things in there like.
Oh yeah, there should really be some graffiti on. Yeah, we probably should.
Like graffiti.
Alrighty, so this is our corrugated iron trap where one of our victims trips a wire and corrugated iron swings in from the sides of him, or front and back of him, and he is sliced through, let's say. Yes, what did we call him? Our crinkle cut victim.
Should we just go down to the wound for a moment? So, all of our tourists have a unique death. I wanted to kind of hit some different boxes, so I wanted a really out of nowhere death. That's our kind of slicing mechanism. Kind of one where it's a bit more violent. That's our spade going down. And then I wanted something that was really going to gross people out. And I thought, what's more Kiwi than long drops? Actually falls down the long drop into what I called the poo pit. We ended up building a long drop in my backyard and shot all the interiors in there.
What are you guys doing?
Just putting mud everywhere?
What we've done is we've taken a bunch of $3.50 compost from Bunnings, mixed it with some chocolate powder, a bit of toilet paper, a bit of cardboard roll, got a big stick, stirred it up, and we've got a nice sort of poo mixture, which, yeah, I think it looks the part. What do you reckon?
Thank you, Ashley. You want to tell us what's going on?
I had poo, well fake poo, and blood and broken bones being put on me.
We had our makeup artist Celeste on this shoot. She had a couple of challenges on this. One, probably the big one, was where Aisling breaks her knee when she falls into the poo pit. And so for that we had a latex and plastic prosthetic from Body Effects. It was basically a strap-on piece that had a bone kind of pre-attached and jutting out. And that got strapped onto her knee, and then Celeste kind of hid that and layered that up with blood and flesh and stuff. The scene where Paul is taped up in the nest and Simon is starting to feed him the flesh of his friends was the very last thing that we shot that day. And we were in a bit of a hurry, we were losing light, so we wanted to get Paul ready to go as quickly as possible. So we put him in the nest that Peter had made out of hay bales and got the tape out and taped him up. Alright Paul, you just sit tight there. And then I think he was sitting there for about 30-40 minutes until we were ready to go. Circulation was probably going at that stage. And if that wasn't bad enough, I prepared some kind of sashimi to be the flesh that he gets fed. Turns out the one thing that he doesn't eat is fish. So not only was he kind of there taped up in this awful kind of egg position, but he was having fish shoved in his face as well. So what a trooper. But yeah, and then his screaming on top of that, that was probably real because of how uncomfortable he was.